the Complete Athlete Podcast, where we get you to your next level in baseball and in life. We got Joey Reinarts here, not as a player, well, partially as a player. He's still playing, but now as a coach interview. How we feeling about that, Joey?
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I love doing the one before with the players. So.
I know. Yeah, it was you, and we had Ryan Wilhelm on. Have you chatted with him?
Shout out Ryan. I haven't talked to him in a while, actually.
All right.
So.
Well, he's probably gonna, after this episode, you're just gonna send it to him.
I know. I know.
Yeah, man, we were interviewed on this. Now I've been a coach for like 6 months. So yeah, you've been on staff here since start of June, right?
It might even been probably started June. Yeah, maybe a little bit before that in May.
Yeah,
because I helped with a couple of those practices at the Spring Lake Park High School.
Oh yeah, we did a few of those like right at the end of May there. Yeah, no, that was fun. And it's good to have you on staff. I mean, you've brought a lot of value when it comes to pitching, and you've obviously, like, when you start coaching and training, you learn a lot more about the game than when you were just playing.
Yeah, it's very, very true. All the time when I'm coaching, I'm like, man, I never thought about it this way, but it just it comes out, and I'm like, that makes sense to me, and it obviously translates to the kids too. So
absolutely, and you've been doing a great job with a lot of the kids too that you've worked with. Whether it's in private lessons or one of the college guys that's worked with you, like we've upped his velo 10 miles an hour and just like little tweaks here and there, and it's been really good. So we've done a lot of the stuff already previously, but maybe some people haven't heard from you. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us kind of where you're at in your playing journey, and then also your coaching journey that you've been with us for the last 6 months.
Okay. Well, I'm Joey. I grew up in Blaine, Minnesota. I went to Tino Grace High School, same as Gabe.
Yes, sir. Represent. And then we got an SLP guy right next to us.
Don't talk to me.
Which that's partial, because I did attend Spring Lake Park as well for a short little while. So.
Right.
I've overstated it, but he betrayed us.
I think kind of where I'm at my player journey. I'm on the club ball team at University of Minnesota.
Whoop whoop.
Yep. Shout out. And then I guess in the summer I do town ball as well. I play for the Minneapolis River Rats. They're a Class A team. We play out of Minneapolis at Parade Stadium.
And that went pretty well for you, because weren't you in the All-Star series for that?
Yeah, I made the All-Star team this year for that. That was super fun. We got to play at CHS.
Sweet.
So we got to pitch there for an inning. That was really fun. And
awesome.
then actually TJ came and watched me pitch there.
Oh yeah,
so
gotta watch your coaches pitch and play.
Yep, it was funny because I got done pitching, and then after that he's like, "Dude, you got to teach me some of this stuff." And I'm like, "I've been trying to teach you some of this stuff."
Yeah, it's funny when that happens, because I think some of the kids that first come to us, like, they're used to maybe some of their dads or a dad coaching them, so they haven't seen like their coaches perform. And because basically, like, a lot of the kids that work with us, like, I'm not speaking for them, but at least when I was playing, like, I was like looking up to like the guy who was teaching me, and if I couldn't see that he could perform the task, how can I see myself doing it?
Right. I think that's been kind of unique too, because like what you said, growing up, you see a lot of the coaches who are, like 30, 40 years old who have played
even more than that sometimes.
Yeah, even more, yeah. But you really haven't seen them play or perform, so you're taking it from someone who obviously knows what they're doing, but you haven't, seen them translate it to you.
Yeah, because if they maybe did it 20 years prior, maybe they can't do it the same way now, which doesn't take away from their knowledge, but seeing exactly how to perform impacts how you're going to approach your day-to-day stuff and what you're going to do.
Right. Yeah, so that's kind of player journey so far. And then coaching journey started this summer, helped out with the 16Us. That was a really fun group of kids.
Absolutely.
I hope to see a lot of them back. I mean, they were back this fall, but I think next summer is going to be really fun again. Then my 15Us this fall with Coach Sam Knight, helped him out with that. That was the first time I really got to, be in the experience, coaching them all the time, going to their weekend games, seeing them succeed in tournaments, also seeing them struggle though, which I'm not saying that's a good thing, but as a coach, it's kind of an interesting experience because it makes you kind of reevaluate yourself and kind of think about, what can I do better at practice to help these kids? What can what can I teach them better, kind of just small stuff like that, and then eventually seeing it pan out, which it did for us at the end because we made the Sunday bracket. So that was really rewarding as coaches. That's what me and Sam were striving for. Finished 500 on the year, so not terrible. We definitely could have done better, but the beginning of the year was a lot of struggles, which is interesting because the kids played in the summer, and then this fall they kind of struggled a little bit. I wouldn't necessarily it was from like a camaraderie or a chemistry thing. I think it was more just maybe they played a lot before and their minds were kind of all boggled and stuff, but we kind of were able to figure some of that stuff out, rein them back in, and then we had a great...
having some fun with it, too. You guys probably started having a little bit more fun and
of course
took the seriousness out of it. And then, when you're playing light and loose, then that's when things start going in the right direction.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of kids that stepped up, too.
Absolutely.
Obviously, we had Ryan Dumont.
Boom, boom.
Yeah, he was... He's a crazy good pitcher. It was really fun watching him throw.
Yeah, he logged a lot of innings for you guys.
He did. Fall. He had a 0 ERA going through 14 innings or something like that.
Boom.
So,
okay, well, there brings us to we're going to absolutely have to interview him. I was just talking to Matty about star players from this fall from each of the teams. So we're definitely going to have to invite him on.
Yeah, that'd be a good guy to have. He's so advanced in his thinking with pitching already. He just he's on the attack all the time, which is what you want as a pitcher. And then he's consistent. Like we'd put him out there and we're like, we know exactly what we're going to get. He's going to give us a really good game. And we tell our hitters, we're like, Ryan's going to go shove. And all you guys got to do is just put up a couple runs and give us a shot to win, play good defense. And I think almost every time we'd win when Ryan was on the mound. So that was always a good thing to have.
What kind of confidence does that breed as a coach? I mean, you get to kind of set the tone for those players when you're out there.
Right. It gives us coaches a lot of confidence because we know that we can kind of let him go do his thing and we can focus on the other guys like, okay, hitters, let's go. Like, we got to score a couple runs here. The fielders, they're always ready because he's going to be up in the count, 0-2, 1-2 all the time. So the fielders play well behind him because they're not sitting there like waiting for the next strike to be thrown or whatever. Like, they know what's coming. So I think as a coach, it's nice because it takes a little bit of pressure off you and you can kind of worry about other things, other like small things versus, do we have to go get a guy ready in the bullpen or, how many pitches is this guy going to throw? Like, we knew we were getting 5 to 7 innings out of Ryan, depending on his pitch count. So that was super nice to have.
Absolutely. And bringing it back to you talking about how he's attacking hitters and being in an 0-2, 1-2 count, now bringing it back to you as a pitcher yourself, like, what is your thought process? Obviously, it depends on the hitter up in the box, but like, how are you approaching those types of accounts, or what are you trying to do each batter?
Yeah. I think when you're in an advantage count like that as a pitcher, it gives you a little bit of kind of wiggle room. But my thing was always to tell the pitchers, like, even though you're up 0-2, 1-2, it doesn't mean you can like just throw crazy random pitches. Like, I want you to go up there and just sit back and just throw the ball like harder than you have been because you're up. And when you do that, it's going to come out really good. And as long as you're near the strike zone, you're either going to get someone to swing or you're at least going to get them looking and thinking like, man, that was a close pitch and that came in really hard. So now like, I don't know what's coming next. Even if, they get called a ball, maybe it's a breaking ball that misses by like an inch or two. And they're like, wow, I have no idea what's coming. So that's a huge advantage.
Exactly. I think a lot of guys who are aggressive that I've seen, at least in our program, and I've seen it in other programs too, they're really good at getting up in the count, but then they almost like put the brakes on a little bit, and then they end up making the count 2-2 because they throw a really bad pitch, like way out of zone. Like it was just a wasted pitch. And then they end up getting a full count. And then now the hitter is able to like be right there and foul off one, foul off another. And then it's like, what pitch do I throw to this guy? Like, do I throw a pitch that I'm not as confident in, and then it ends up being in the dirt or completely out of the zone? I think that teaching kids about that, like still being in attack mode, even when you're up, like don't waste pitches.
Right, exactly. My thing was always like, just go full intent. Like, if you start babying stuff, it's never gonna get there. So you got to keep applying the pressure. Even if it's not a strike, you still got to like come at them like very forcefully with whatever you're going to be throwing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. For me, I remember this one at bat back in when I was playing club ball. It was down in an Illinois tournament or somewhere. I think it was Road Rangers Stadium in Rockford, Illinois. And there was this one guy who it was like a 12 pitch at bat, but I just kept throwing cutters like right on the outside corner, just kept throwing that same pitch and then just dotted one inside corner like right there.
Yep.
But I was like, attack, just keep attacking.
Yep.
You know?
Another thing I'd say about that is, like, I feel like if you're in a full count as a pitcher and the batter works at full count, it's almost the odds are against you now.
Yeah.
Because you have to throw a strike to get him out, and if you don't, then he gets on base.
You even saw it in the World Series.
Yeah, exactly.
And ALCS and LCS,
exactly.
like guys, like there was a lot more walks than you normally see because there's a lot more pressure on the pitcher in that full count.
Exactly.
I think that's a very good approach to even teach younger players
Yeah.
all the way down to Little League, because if you're getting these kids into 3-2 counts, you're going to see a good pitch. Otherwise, they're getting on base, and then on base percentage just skyrockets.
Exactly. And when you walk guys, most of the time, good stuff doesn't happen after that. You get a dinky hit, or you give up a double in the gap, and then there's a guy scoring probably. So it's like, if you can just limit that kind of stuff, that's what we preached, is like limit the base runners and play good defense. Because when you're 15, 14, even 16 years old, whatever, like that's how other teams win the game, because you're playing sloppy and they take advantage of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And then back to this fall, just back to coaching. So you helped out with the 16U teams in the summer, more of an assistant, and then an assistant again on the 15U team. Like you're stuck with just one team. And then you helped out a little bit with the 10U.
Yeah.
You got your first win as a head coach.
I did.
Actually, you got two of them, didn't you?
I got 2 wins, yeah.
Yeah,
Shout
absolutely.
out 10U.
How was that? I mean, obviously, I was at a wedding those weekends, so you kind of filled in, and thank you for doing that. And how was that experience for you? What was the difference between coaching 10-year-olds compared to, and actually a lot of those kids are 9, because the fall is the year before they're 10.
Yeah.
And difference between 15 and 16-year-olds.
How
was that?
Definitely. So the first game I showed up, it was me and Nate Brennan, and I showed up and I was like, I have no idea what to expect. I've never coached kids this young before. And I'm like looking at your lineup thing, and it's like switch players like every 2 innings or whatever. And I was like, I don't know how to do this. I don't even know who these kids are. So I'm like, raise your hand if you play this position. Raise your hand. I'm just like sending people out there doing their thing. And we ended up 10 running that team, but it was fun. It was really fun. It was like, it was a new experience for me, because these kids are so little, but they're such good ball players. They can hit the crap out of the ball, and it's fun to watch them have fun out there. Like when you're that young, you don't really realize like the time you're having, especially like, looking back at it now. It's like, man, I miss like playing when I was that young, because it's like you're playing so free. The game like hasn't evolved necessarily, and the game hasn't gotten hard in a way. You're just kind of up there having fun. And you're not thinking as much. So yeah, I think that was probably the biggest takeaway I saw.
Yeah, it's a little more raw, like a little more. It's not as pure, I would say, but like as the game gets better, as you get better, I think it becomes that. But it's definitely, there's like a rawness to playing Little League and those like early club ball and travel teams, where like you just kind of, there's a nuance to that game.
Right. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was cool. There's a reason why I wanted to throw a few guys into those different situations, learning. Like I brought Matty along to one of the tournaments too, and he's like, okay, coaching 10-year-olds is a little bit different than coaching 17-year-olds and 18-year-olds. I'm like, yep, man. Yeah, you got to bring the energy. The kids are on it every single inning. Like, and you got to keep the energy going, and they follow their leader.
They follow the leader. All eyes are on you. Like when you're coaching older kids, like they're going to pay attention to you, but they kind of do their own thing. But when they're, that little, it's like they're all staring right at you. So you kind of got to set a good example too.
Absolutely. Always setting a good example. And then as far as you going forward now, like you've been with us for half a year. You obviously trained with us last winter as a college ball player at Morris. I forgot for a second. Now you're at the U of M playing. So what's going to look like here the next 6 months? What are you going to be focusing on here at Complete Athlete and kind of with your club ball with the U of M?
So at Complete Athlete, I know that I'm going to be helping out with winter practices. So
for the winter teams, absolutely.
I'm very excited about that, to see some of the guys that I coached this fall, this summer, and then even doing lessons. I know a lot of them are going to come back and do that stuff with us too. So
yes, sir.
I'm just excited to see a lot of those kids that I help coach. I love doing the lessons too, group or private. It's just fun to be around the kids and even older players, just because it kind of like helps you to remember that it's just a game. It's not super serious, but you're there to help them. And I always tell people, I'm like, I love my job because it's easy for me, and I just like being there and helping people because it's rewarding to me.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like work when you're doing something you love, and giving back to the kids, just like you were in that situation however many years ago.
Right, exactly.
So with the winter team stuff, basically, you're going to be running pitching groups with that.
Yep.
John's going to be at practices, and then the workouts, Zach Dykes will be running those, and you and John will be facilitating them, and we're going to be going through that this afternoon, getting ready for off-season stuff. Just 2 days, man. The last few weeks, honestly, I've been like, let's get to work. Like, it's honestly been kind of a little bit of a lull. We honestly, these last 2 weeks have been like our only off-season because we're constantly go with spring, summer, and fall and winter ball. So, we're excited to get back.
It's been kind of weird these past 2 weeks.
It's been odd, man.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I've been doing a lot of computer work, and I just need to get back out there and doing some training.
I know, seriously.
Just getting the flow of things. So, we've really talked about a lot of stuff just in previous podcasts, but what would you say your goals are going forward just for yourself? Obviously, it's your senior year of college.
Yep.
You're finishing up. You didn't even tell us about club ball this next year. Like, how's that going to look for you?
So club ball will be in the spring. I think we have 5 tournaments this spring.
Okay.
We have an in-state one versus St. Thomas. That's kind of weather pending. Maybe that'll get pushed back towards the end, but then we'll move out towards North Dakota. I think we go there twice for UND and NDSU. We have a tournament there.
Sweet.
And then we'll go down to Iowa. And then we have one more where I forget where we go, but I think we're supposed to have 5. So I'm pretty excited about that. It's just we don't play any like regular season games. They're just kind of tournament games.
Sounds like our club schedule.
Yeah, exactly. And then depending on how many of those we win, we could potentially make the playoffs too, and then maybe even like the club World Series or whatever.
Sweet.
So that'd be pretty cool to do. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, we got some good guys on that team, so I'm excited.
Awesome. And you're going to be working on your craft just like all the players at Complete Athlete are this winter.
I know.
So you and Matty, I know Matty's got his practice sessions right before trainings every night, and I'm assuming you'll be.
I'm sure I'll be tagging along. Yeah.
Getting your throwing in plyos and everything. Well, we're super excited to continue to have you. You've been a great addition to our staff. Great positive role model for all these kids, and it's good to have you here, man. Excited for what's to come.
Yeah, of course.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.